Hello guys, good afternoon. Welcome to my channel. This afternoon, I'm going to share to you various hydroponics system which you can use when you will go into hydroponics gardening. So please watch this video from the very beginning until the end so that you can grasp the information or principles in this different system or culture used in hydroponics. There are two systems in hydroponics used today. These are the closed system and the open system. In the closed system, nutrients are recycled. Like in the case of this nutrient film technique, there's a tank, and this is the setup. The water in the tank containing the nutrient elements is pumped to the upper level of the setup. Then it will move to the different channel in the lower level in order that the plants can absorb the nutrient elements from the water flowing. Then it will flow back to the tank. Then again, it will be pumped to the upper level, and the process is repeated. There's a recycling of nutrients in water. Unlike in soil farming, when you will water the plants containing nutrient elements, so that would be enough. The water or the materials will already be in the ground, and of course, not all the nutrient elements are used by plants. Okay, the second is open system. Nutrients are thrown or used in the field. So after using the water containing the nutrient elements, perhaps in the middle of the growing period, the water is thrown and, of course, used in uh, soil garden, because I am pretty sure that not all the nutrient elements in that particular water used in the hydroponics system or culture was used. So there are still nutrients in that particular water. So we need to use it in our soil garden. So that's the difference between the two systems. Under this system, there are several types of culture, and identified here nine types. The first one is water solution or nutrient film technique. This technique, in this type of culture, the fertilizer materials, which is of course soluble to water, are dissolved in water, and the water will be um, it watered or fertigated to the plants. Now, I have here an example of the nutrient film technique. So, as what I've said a while ago, that the water in the tank has nutrient elements, then it will be used by plants one once it will be pumped here at the upper level of the setup, then it will flow downward then to the tank. So this is utilizing water with nutrient elements. The second is Rockwool culture. Rockwool culture is the culturing of crops through the use of Rockwool cubes. You can grow in Rockwool cubes from seedling stage until harvesting. Or sometimes Rockwool cubes are used in producing uh, seedlings. Then you will transfer it to the final growing area. So in this case, uh, these are rock wool cubes, not yet separated, and these are already seedlings, and this can be grown finally in this particular uh, medium. But of course, there's a continuous watering of the plants because if this will not be watered automatic, it will, or these plants will die. So that's Rockwool cube culture. Then sand and gravel. Um, this is a typical example. You are using gravel as your medium, but of course, we cannot escape of using water with nutrients, balanced nutrients. When I tested this system in 1991, when I was still a school teacher, I became successful in eggplant, tomato, and cucumber, utilizing the sand and gravel culture. I have a small hydroponics greenhouse measuring 2 by 4 uh, meters. Then it was covered with polypropylene sheet. Then, yeah, as roping materials. And the side of the greenhouse was covered with the net in order to protect the plants from insect pests. And I use cladding technique in the plant box, and also in I planted cucumber in containers. I just filled with or the containers with water, and every week I remove the water. Then of course I mm, used it in my garden, soil garden. Okay, that's sand and gravel culture. That's bucket culture is utilization of actually bucket. Uh, this is an example of bucket commonly used in foreign countries. But I am not saying that we are not using it here in the Philippines. I am pretty sure that there are hydroponics enthusiasts or hobbyists using this particular type of culture. Uh, but of course, the water here is recycled. It will flow. This is the tank containing water with nutrient elements then it will flow in the different channels, or there are hoses, I suppose. Then it will flow back to the tank. That's bucket culture. Next is aeroponics. We are growing plants in the air, and what other people are doing, particularly in foreign countries, they are watering the roots in order that the plants will survive, even if it is on air. Sometimes they spray, and or just water the roots. Uh, Sometimes the water will flow at the top of the system, then, or sometimes the hobbyist will spray the roots with water containing the nutrient elements. But of course, in large scale farming, it would be impossible for you to do the spraying regularly. You will, uh, what you will do is to use machines which will do the works of the gardeners and or farmers in the provision of water. This is a typical example. These are plants of these are potatoes planted in this system. Then uh, allow the plants to grow. Okay, let's proceed to the others. We have the raft culture. We call it as floating hydroponics. Just in this case, plants are in the board. The board is allowed to float in water, and of course, the water has nutrient elements for the plants to absorb. We call it as rock culture, or um, the floating hydroponics. Then autopat. I have here an example. This is also a floating hydroponics. The autopat culture is like Dutch bucket culture. It is self-paid, but also using pots. The difference here is that the container may be larger or bigger than the Dutch bucket culture. Okay, then we have also vertical gardening. In vertical gardening, similar, set up with that of the nutrient film technique. So the water flows in the system uh, through different hose. Then it will be fed to the plants growing in vertical channels, PVC pipe. So the water will pass here, then downward, then there's a container, something here at the back. Then it will be pumped again to the top of the the channel, then it will be distributed to the vertical channels in order for the plants to absorb the nutrients and water. Then we have also the last is organic culture. This organic culture, we are using coconut fiber, bagasse, or sterilized um, soil. Then what else? There are other organic materials, but of course, the term organic culture signifies that you are using organic materials to include the fertilizer. So that's the essence of organic culture. It's not anymore organic if you will be using uh, chemicals. So these are the different types of culture under this different mm, under the two systems in hydroponics, and these are few. There are several designs used by our innovative hydroponics enthusiasts. If they were able to try a certain modality in growing crops hydroponically, they published it. I myself, I have several tests. And I am using containers, using nutrient film technique, using this craft culture, and the next that I will test is the success of aeroponics, the success of aeroponics, and then we have also this what we call aquaponics. I have a setup for aquaponics, but of course the problem is the the nutrients produced by fishes in the tank cannot suffice the need for the growth of my pitsai plant. So I just reduce the number of pitsai plants to few in numbers because um, they cannot, they have no food. If the fish will in the tank will increase, it's automatic that I will also increase the number of the plants in the setup. So these are all about for today. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.